Surely you've heard the saying, you can't believe everything you hear. I think it might have been Abraham Lincoln who said that. Okay, no, I don't think that's really an Abraham Lincoln quote. But that doesn't keep me from creating a website, naming it Famous Quotes by Abraham Lincoln, and saying that it's a quote by him. And once you can find it on Google, there's a good chance that somebody's going to believe it. Google, Safari, Firefox, they're all great tools to help you find information, but is it all great information? Anyone can create a website and put any information they want on it. How do you know the information is good? And how do we define good anyway? To make sure you don't end up filling your report with crappy information, you can use what I like to call the crap test of internet goodness. The acronym CRAAP stands for Currency, Relevance, Authority, Accuracy, and Purpose. Good information must be current enough for the information to be valid. Before using any information, it has to be relevant. That is, it has to address the focus of your research question. It can't just be loosely related and sound good. The information should be authoritative. That is, it has to be from a trustworthy source. It must be accurate or true, and you should be able to verify the information from authoritative sources found elsewhere. And you also have to consider the website's purpose. Why was the site created? To inform? To persuade? To make money? All of this matters when you think of a website's value or how good it is. Using a website evaluation tool, like the one on the right here, can help you think critically about the information you find. So let's put our crap test to the test with Growing Blue, one of our Race to Save the Planet websites. Are you going to just trust that your teachers picked high-quality websites for you to use for your research? But what if they didn't check them out? What will you do if your next project doesn't come with a pre-selected list of approved websites? And for this project, how can you expect your donors to give money to your cause and country if they find out your research is filled with crappy information? Growing Blue, meet the evaluation checklist. If you're asking donors to fund your project, you'll want to show them that your information is current and up to date. Check the website for when the information was last updated, or if the information is currently under copyright protection. Usually this information is in the side margins or at the bottom of the web page, as it is here on the Growing Blue web page. So far, so good. The website's up to date, but is the information on topic? The internet might make finding information easy, but there's still no substitute for reading the information with your research question in mind and thinking about whether that information is relevant, that is, that it addresses your question. I'll show you a research question and then two statements from this page. The research question is Bangladesh in need of safe, clean drinking water? Read the two bulleted statements. If you're representing Bangladesh, which piece of information helps your presentation? Both statements are true, but only one of them is relevant. Your donors are probably aware that there's a shortage of clean drinking water in the world, but you want them to help you solve the problem in your country, Bangladesh. So only the second statement is relevant. You should also check the page for authority. Are they experts? How can you tell? Do you know who or what entity or organization put the information on the net? Check the domain in the URL. Are they a .com commercial site? A .gov government site? A .org nonprofit organization? Or maybe a .edu educational institution? Then ask, who's the author, publisher, source, or sponsor? Are these people qualified to write on the topic? Are the author's credentials or organizational affiliations given so you can check them out? Is there contact information, such as a publisher or an email address, so you can contact them with questions if you want to? Growing Blue is a .com site, meaning it's a commercial enterprise, a business. Yet it mentions scientists, academia, that is university professors, and environmental professionals at leading NGOs on its About Us page, and it links to several of these organizational affiliates or partners' sites. A closer reading tells us the page was created by Veolia Water. Are they scientists, professors, or NGO environmentalists? How do we find out? Well, how do we find out just about anything these days? We Google it. Nope. Veolia Water is not an NGO or an educational institution, but we could have learned that from the URL. They're a private company, the world's largest supplier of water services. What might that mean for your research? What's their purpose for creating the site? Just to help and inform people? Or maybe to do that and to make money? Of the two, helping people and making money, which do you think is more important? Which might the company think is more important? Well, another quick Googling of Veolia Water plus news can tell you a lot about what kind of business they've been up to. After a look at these articles, it appears that these guys check out okay. But I wasn't about to give them the benefit of the doubt without double checking. Not when the future of my country is on the line. It would be embarrassing if I used information from a biased source and my donors found out. Veolia Water might be out to make money, but our closer look shows that the information on their page is backed up by plenty of authoritative sources. Next, we look at accuracy or truthfulness of the information on their website. And the best way to do that is to compare the information on Growing Blue's site with the information found on other authoritative websites. Sometimes a website will help you with this task by listing their sources. Sometimes that list is called a bibliography or a works cited. Here's the sources page from Growing Blue. Looks good so far. They have their sources listed, but should we trust them? Well, why should you? Ask yourself, how do you know that they're not made up? And even if they're not, how do you know that the information in the source really says what they say it says? Follow the links back to the original source to see if they cited it correctly. This is also a great way to find more sources if you need them. Also, you can check other authoritative sources not listed on their source page to make sure that they corroborate or back up the information you want to use. I used the Growing Blue source list to trace back that earlier claim about arsenic in Bangladesh's drinking water to the original USAID report, and the accuracy checked out. So even though this website belongs to a business and it is undoubtedly focused on making money, the information on the site is also unbiased, and it comes from organizations that are focused on informing readers and not making money. Knowing this, we can confidently say that the purpose of this site is to raise awareness and share information about water issues, so it's safe to use. Now, this information might have been unbiased, but not all information you find will be that way. Depending on your topic, you might find conflicting information depending on whose site you visit and what their purpose is. For example, here's a reliable source, an article from The Economist online magazine. It shows two sides of a company named Monsanto that makes a ton of money and helps to feed a ton of people. Some feel that they do more harm than good, and some feel just the opposite, as you can tell from these two clips on the screen. And both sides have websites whose purpose is to tell only their side of the story. And one final note, one way that you can tell if a source is reliable is if it has editors or reviewers on staff that check the story before they publish it. That's why newspapers, magazines, and journals, even ones on the internet, are usually considered more reliable than private web pages. So how did Growing Blue do? The website didn't get a perfect score, but we checked it out thoroughly and can feel comfortable using this resource. It passed our crap test. Thinking critically about the websites you use means using your judgment. It means thinking about how current, relevant, authoritative, and accurate the information is, and why it's on the net in the first place. And that takes practice. Don't be this guy. Think critically about the websites you use for research.